I remember riding westward beneath a brilliant sky, a lone traveler against a sea of tumbleweeds and sagebrush. The sun was setting, painting the horizon with fiery oranges and pinks. My horse's hooves kicked up clouds of dust as we made our way along the winding trail. Each step I took made me miss the warmth of daylight, but I welcomed the cool of evening, knowing shelter and warmth awaited after a long journey. I felt a strange excitement tingling in my veins, as if the land itself held its breath for what was to come. In the distance, the silhouettes of ranches and mesas began to fade into twilight. The air carried the distant cries of coyotes and the rustle of grass in the wind. I could smell pine and mesquite smoke from a wood fire far off, promising warmth in the coming night. I had hoped for a quiet night, just the soft crackle of a fire and nothing more. A blazing sun dipping low behind red rock walls, dust swirling in the horse's wake, the scent of wild sage on the wind, twilight colors melting into a star-speckled sky. The open prairie stretched on forever, and I inhaled deeply, savoring the night air. For a moment, I let the silence envelop me. I sensed something extraordinary was just around the bend. At sunset, I found myself drawn to a weathered saloon on the edge of town. Its heavy wooden door swung open at my knock, letting out golden light and the low hum of piano keys. I stepped inside, brushing red dust from my boots. The saloon was alive with clinking glasses and whispered conversation. Gas lamps overhead cast a warm glow on the rough mahogany bar, where a tired bartender polished a copper spittoon. I brushed a few specks of dust off a nearby table and took a seat by the window, letting the last golden light fade from the sky. I took a moment to let my eyes adjust. Old cowboys played a raucous game of cards by candlelight at a corner table. Their laughter was lively, worn boots tapping to a distant fiddle tune. I raised my drink slightly to my lips, relishing the warmth of the whiskey. For a moment, I let the music carry me away, forgetting the miles yet to ride. The air smelled of whiskey and cedar. One of the cowboys tipped the brim of his hat as I passed, and I gave a small nod in return, feeling strangely at home already. I caught a quick glance at a wanted poster pinned to a beam, an outlaw's face with eyes much like a storm about to break. But as the shadows danced on the floor, my restless excitement only deepened. I felt an odd certainty that tonight was going to be unforgettable.
Leaving the saloon behind, I headed down a lantern-lit street. The howl of wind teased at the edges of buildings, hinting at an approaching storm. At the end of the block stood the inn, a sturdy two-story lodge of weathered wood, its windows aglow with soft, flickering light. Smoke rose lazily from the stone chimney, promising the warmth of a hearth inside. Inside the candle-lit inn, the front desk was quiet. The innkeeper, a kind-faced woman, greeted me with a knowing smile. "Just one room tonight, miss," she said softly, as if she had planned it. I gave her my name, and she handed me a heavy key. She tilted her head and quietly said, "Everyone needs a warm bed on a night like this." The hallways smelled of polished pine and the faint trace of lavender soap. Every corner I passed, candle flames dancing in brass lanterns along the walls, the worn leather of armchairs in the common room, a crackling fireplace sending warmth through oak floorboards, quiet footsteps padding on a braided rug in the hall. Each detail wrapped around me like a warm shawl on a cold night. I paused to examine a framed photograph on the wall, a young couple in dusty finery beneath a wide prairie sky. It felt like they too were urging me to rest and be patient. Finally, I settled my luggage and slowly climbed the creaking staircase, feeling anticipation in my chest. The inn was old, but well-loved, full of secrets in the wood grain and stories in the portraits hung by the stairs. Old-time cowboys and frontiersmen staring back with ghostly smiles. I took one last look at the flickering common room behind me, wondering what fate held in store for this stormy night. Taking a deep breath, I inserted the key into the door I believed was mine. It clicked open, and I stepped inside, expecting an empty room warmed by one candle and a cozy fireplace. I had hoped for a quiet night, just the soft crackle of a fire and nothing more. Instead, a pair of dark eyes snapped up from under tousled hair at the other side of the bed. My heart slammed against my ribs as I froze in place. A man was there, awake, leaning against the pillows. For a heartbeat, I considered turning back, but the curiosity burning inside pushed me forward. My cheeks flushed. I must have the wrong room, I stammered, voice barely above a whisper. He chuckled low in his chest. Looks like we both do, miss. Seems the innkeepers played a trick on us. His tone was kind, not rough like an outlaw's might have been. He slipped out of the bed, boots softly thudding on the floor as he moved. Name's Jack, he said, tipping an imaginary hat to me. And you? I realized I'd been so startled I hadn't even introduced myself. I managed a shy smile, though my cheeks were burning all over again. He gave a half laugh and said softly, "It's a small inn." Stepping aside, he gave me a little more space in the narrow hallway. "Looks like we'll have to share." "I reckon that's our only choice tonight," he added kindly.
We each held a single brass candlestick in hand, illuminating a hallway too narrow for two. Our shadows danced on the walls like old friends, guiding us together. It was an awkward, surreal moment, two strangers in the same bed at midnight, but I found myself smiling at the absurdity of it all. Outside, the wind rattled the shutters as if it were knocking politely. Inside, Jack's easy grin made the whole thing feel just a bit lighter. Jack struck another match at the fireplace and placed his candlestick on the mantel. I felt the glow flicker over his features once more as he settled back. The hearth roared to life, pushing the chill from the room. He sat on the edge of the worn quilt, patting the mattress to invite me closer. He then produced a silver flask from his pocket and offered me a sip of whiskey. I took a swig. The warm liquor burned pleasantly down my throat, chasing away the last of the evening's cool. "Plan on staying up all night staring at me?" he teased with a lopsided grin, eyes sparkling. My heart hitched. "Would that be so terrible?" I replied, tracing the rim of my tin coffee cup. The single bed creaked slightly as I settled into it beside him, careful at first. We leaned in toward the fire, letting its warmth chase away any remaining chill. He told me he'd come from a nearby ranch called Cedar Grove, where he tended cattle and broke mustangs. The rhythm in his voice was steady, like the steady gait of his horse. I shared that I was traveling in search of a new start, far from memories that felt as dusty as the trail behind me. Our confessions spilled out between us with the crackle of the flames. He stopped mid-sentence, eyes drifting to the storm outside. I followed his gaze. A flash of lightning split the sky, followed by thunder's rumble. The world beyond our window was alive and wild, but inside our little room, all was warmth and hush. Suddenly, another loud crack of thunder made me jump. Even Jack's eyes widened for a split second. He quickly placed a protective hand on my shoulder, a gentle gesture charged with warmth. My pulse fluttered as I realized how comfortably my hand fit into his hand. "Mind if I steal just one more dance before the night ends?" he asked huskily. In one fluid motion, he slid closer and held out his hand. Even as we stumbled, we found ourselves laughing and spinning almost magically, as if the old pine floor was teaching us how to dance. We laughed quietly as we stumbled into each other.
He dipped me gently, my heart danced ahead of me. He held me steady, as if trying to memorize the details of the moment. For a heartbeat, the world outside ceased to exist. There were just two hearts beating in quiet excitement. He smiled down at me, that crooked grin soft and inviting. Suddenly, he leaned in, close enough that I felt his warm breath on my lips. My pulse burst at the nearness. I closed my eyes and lifted onto my toes. When our lips met, it wasn't rushed or wild, but tender, as if we had waited all night for this one perfect moment. In that kiss, I felt all the loneliness of the trail melt into the warmth of our new connection.
We spent the next hours softly talking and sharing stories by firelight. Every so often the storm rattled the windows and we'd flinch together, exchanging amused glances. One minute we'd be laughing over a spilled glass of whiskey, him, or a fluffed pillow, me. The next, our talk would drift into quieter, softer tones. One time, our fingers accidentally brushed while passing the flask, and a spark shot through me before I even realized. We were still seated at the very edge of the bed when Jack tucked the covers around us both. "If we're sharing, might as well stay warm," he said softly. In the dim glow, he sat close beside me. The golden lamplight played across my features, highlighting the small freckles at my cheekbone. He looked at me, the playful glint in his eye softening into something earnest. He shrugged off his hat and ran a hand through his thick, dark hair. Then he leaned in, breath warm and sweet with adventure. "It's strange," he murmured, "finding this here with you." I smiled and whispered back that strange is good. His hand found mine in the blankets. I leaned my head on his shoulder, and we just stayed like that for a few minutes, silent but completely content. Outside, the rain finally let up, leaving a fresh scent in the air. Inside, Jack and I were enclosed in our own little world of firelight and whispers. We didn't need more words. Every gentle smile and laugh said enough. In the soft glow, our whispered laughter eventually fell quiet. He pointed at the candle's flame, saying, softly, "Good night, Miss Emily." I felt happiness pour through me at hearing him say my name. I lay down, and he gently rested his arm around me. In the middle of that slow dance, we kissed again. It wasn't hurried or passionate. It was warm and comforting, as if every step had led us perfectly to this. For a moment, I wished the night would never end.
Hours slipped by like the slow turning of wagon wheels, and eventually the storm let the stars peek through. Soon, dawn's first rosy light crept through the curtains. I felt Jack's warmth still beside me as I turned in my sleep. In the early morning glow, I watched him quietly. All traces of the rugged cowboy faded into the gentle man smiling beside me. I kept still for a moment, savoring how safe and content I felt. He kissed my forehead softly. "Morning already?" he asked in a hushed voice. Outside, the world began to wake up. A rooster crowed in the distance, and horses whinnied as stable hands tended them. My moment of peace ended. Reality crept back in. The mix-up would be sorted out, and soon I'd have to say goodbye. Jack handed me a small wrapped bundle from the bedside table. Inside was a silver locket on a leather cord, and within it, a tiny photograph of the Cedar Grove Ranch. "It's a piece of where I belong," he said quietly, "in case you ever find yourself that way." My eyes glistened. I traced the photograph with my fingertip. "Thank you," I whispered, leaning in to kiss him again, soft and warm, longer this time. He smelled of morning dew and pine, and I held him for a heartbeat longer than I felt I had a right to. We parted slowly, each savoring the moment's bittersweet goodbye. Outside, the sun flooded the sky with promise as Jack walked me to the door. I gave him a playful salute. "I'll be counting on it, Mr. Jack." He nodded at me with a warm smile and tipped his hat one last time before I stepped into the morning light. I paused in the hallway door.
wanting for a heartbeat to turn back. But I drew in a steady breath and stepped outside into the cool morning. For so long I had carried doubt and loneliness, and yet in that instant I felt truly seen, and it made all the difference. And with that, I walked out into the new day. The inn's door clicked shut behind me. Horse hooves on wood sounded in the street. The gentle wind carried the scent of rain-washed earth. I left with the dawn, but in my heart the memory burned bright. One unforgettable night in the wrong room that felt exactly like it was meant to be.